Nation's long history suddenly acquired renewed interest this year. Just over one distant chapter in our nation's long history suddenly acquired renewed interest this year. Just over 100 years ago, the Spanish flu pandemic raged across the United States and around the world. Many of the strategies used to deal with it are the same ones we're using today. Elizabeth Palmer has more.
In 1918, World War I was finally ending. Millions were on the move, soldiers, refugees, and immigrants, all helping to spread the so-called Spanish flu.
It infected 1 in 3 people on Earth.
Laura Spinney is the author of Pale Rider.
And it killed an estimated 50 to 100 million people, which equates to 2.5 to 5% of the global population at that time.
COVID-19 attacks the lungs. So did the Spanish flu. Then, as now, there was no cure and no vaccine, just common sense prescriptions like fresh air. These women employees of Britain's War Department were sent on regular walks to ward off the virus. In San Francisco, even courtrooms moved outside. And anti-COVID masks in 2020 aren't much different from the ones people wore a century ago. But 1918 was different from 2020 in one crucial way. Ordinary people weren't told very much.
Why were the authorities censoring information about the outbreak?
The idea that you couldn't trust the public with too much information because they would panic and run riot, and then you wouldn't be able to control them.
So people blindly followed rules that killed them, especially soldiers on crowded troop ships who spread the virus around the world. It wasn't until 1920 that the worst pandemic in history ended, as COVID-19 will do too.
Eventually, it will just fizzle out. But the question is, how long will that take, and how many people are going to fall ill and die in the meantime?
The lesson of 1918 is social distancing and good hygiene do work. The future is up to us. For CBS This Morning, Saturday, I'm Elizabeth Palmer in London.